hold on before you pay.
Senate will be bringing his own position, and we'll also hear from the opposition tonight. Stick around, everyone. Let's begin by letting you know that former Vice President of Nigeria, Akpabio Did, and Oyo State Governor, Governor Seyi Makinde, today held a close-up meeting with former President of Military Head of State, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, at his hilltop residence in Minna, the Niger State capital. After the meeting, Mr. Atiku told journalists that the visit to Niger State was aimed at strengthening the structures of the African Democratic Congress ADC in the state, and stressing that the visit had nothing to do with contesting the 2027 presidential election. Take a listen.
Nigerians were expecting real-time electronic, transfer to the various levels of, of the elections. But what we got is a mixture of electronic and manual transmission, which is going to cause more confusion or chaos than if we have a single tier, electoral transmission system, which is real-time electronic. That would be our preference. And I think there is need for all the opposition political parties to come together to pursue this issue. I mean, we shouldn't allow it to rest where they wanted it to rest today. Absolutely not. I don't support that. The issue of contesting 2027 election does not even arise. I am a member of ADC, and we are busy trying to make sure that our structures are firmly rooted, from the world level, local government level, state level, up to the national level. And we're busy mobilizing people and also registering at the same time.
All right, then. You heard from Mr. Atiku after that meeting. So a lot to unpack tonight for you. But first, let's check out some of your political roundup stories, and I guess we'll get talking on our major conversation for tonight.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has opened up about his meeting with President Bola Tinubu, which also had the Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, in attendance at the presidential villa in Abuja. Mr. Wike stated that the meeting, which held on the 9th of February the 9th, 2026, was President Bola Tinubu's move in brokering peace between Governor Fubara and members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. He appreciated President Bola Tinubu's intervention and expressed optimism of a lasting peace between Governor Fubara and the state's legislature.
I'm being done by a lawyer and a member of the opposition. Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo is live for us tonight on the program. It's a pleasure having you join us tonight.
Thank you very much, and thank you, viewers, for joining us.
What do you make of what played out today? Emergency session. A lot of Nigerians were happy that the Senate, for a moment, they are reacting to the emotions of Nigeria and listening to the Nigerian people. They came and they adopted the vote and proceedings today, but that's how all it ended. That clause 63 has been adopted and voted for in that manner.
Well, what I saw today was treachery.
What do you mean?
It was deceit. It was 419, the way we know it in Nigeria, obtaining by false pretense. First of all, Senator Munguno told Nigerians that they had to summon this session in order to listen to the yearnings of Nigerians, in order to take their will into consideration. What did they end up doing? They took their own will into consideration through the back door. What have we been saying? What we have been saying is that we want unconditional electronic transmission of polling unit results to preserve the integrity of our results. Let me make it clear. We do not have anything like electronic collation of results. What we have is electronic preservation, storage, and transmission of the manually generated polling unit results in order to preserve the integrity of the results. In other words, Nigerians have discovered that our problem is that in between polling unit and the collation center, a lot of abracadabra take place that mutilates, that inflates, that fraudulently manipulates the polling unit results in order to give you not what the people voted, but what the counters of the elections would do what? What did the senators do today? What they did was that they said, oh, we can now electronically transmit with a proviso that when it is not possible to transmit you will use the manual. That is the discretion we have been fighting for.
Is it not safer?
No, it is dangerous.
Can you trust technology 100%?
When it comes to this issue, I trust it 100%. Why am I saying so? INEC was the one who invented IRF portal. They have never complained for one day since they started using it, almost 2020, that technology failed them in uploading the result. Not one day. But let me tell you the funny thing. BVAS is the technological device that INEC chose to accredit voters. And BVAS, by section 47, subsection 1 to 3, they said you must accredit with BVAS. And when BVAS is not working, what do? They didn't say you should rely on the manual register of voters. They said you should cancel the election and reschedule it. And this is BVAS working throughout the day. Yet the consequence, if it is not working, is that you cancel the election. The same BVAS is what they said they are going to use to upload the scanned copy of the
Michael, welcome.
On the
you just see what they happen.
And then you're telling us that if that one transaction does not go, they should go back to the manual. No, that is legitimatizing the technical glitch, which Yakubu Mohammed brought. Because what they are simply saying is that the provision reads, when there is technical glitch, in quotes, by INEC, because they are the ones who will tell you they don't have network, then use the manual. That was exactly what happened in 2023. Emerson Website Services said there was no glitch. Nothing happened to their station. INEC said that there was glitch. And when you want to go to court, they will tell you things that asserts should prove, even when you don't have the document. Let me tell you what the Supreme Court said about proviso. In the case of NDIC versus Okem Enterprises Limited, 2004, 10 Nigeria Weekly Law Report, at 880 at page 107. The Supreme Court said the purpose of proviso in a statutory enactment is to qualify or cut down the main clause in the statute preceding it. Remember what happened in the case of Begunde and the Ondo State House of Assembly. The Supreme Court said that proviso means that, yes, if you defect from one party to the other, you lose your seat, provided that there is no division in the party. That is what the proviso does. The proviso destroys the main clause to the limit of whatever they say. So when they say that the proviso is that you can now use manual, it has destroyed completely the electronically transmitted.
Let me break it down
that we have been fighting for.
Let me break it down.
So that is dubiousness. And let me tell you, the opposition senators displayed a lot of timidity and unintelligence. And the ruling senators, as they know, displayed a lot of mischief and dubiousness. They are the people that will want us not to even believe what we are seeing. You will catch them rubbing the leg of a woman and they will tell you, say, this is what we are seeing. Those ruling senators with their dubiousness. That is what they want to do to us.
Give me a moment. Let me break it down.
I like Kenneth Okonkwo for
this. On election,
this
they
is
are
strong
very critical
voice.
to an election. The first is accreditation. The second is voting. And the third is result processing. And for those who are election savvy, we know that these are the critical leg for an election to happen for you. You need to first of all be verified and certified to be able to partake in that election, which is the process of accreditation. In our own climb, it's a combined effort in once you are accredited, you vote immediately. The simultaneous voting and accreditation, which the BVAS is being primed to do. Meanwhile, in all of the three processes in Nigeria election,
Mike, I don't understand though. You say you buy bronze.
One out of it
why not the show
now? Backed by law, which is the accreditation. Our voting manual, result collation manual. So there are those who are asking the question.
My brother.
If you cannot do the voting
only
by
brother of life.
Means, can you collect the result by electronic means? In the real sense of it, the election rigging those years always
thank you so much. Although I never see it, but I really appreciate that.
That is not
thank you.
Any longer because
God will bless you for me. Our ancestors will bless you.
Where the problem has been over the years is the result collation and transmission of this result, which is by manual process, and that's where the debate is. So the question today is that there will be an harmonization committee, Mr. Okonkwo.
Yes.
And when they go into the harmonization, procedurally, they are supposed to look at what the House of Reps had concluded since last year, what the Senate has arrived at. They will put it together, harmonize it, and form the bill that will
Michael.
Several we understand that the president
if you know the prayer when I pray for you just now, oh my God, your head go this sweat.
The version of the house is different now from the version of the
Senate. I pray for I say make the ancestors bless you. I use native language. You know, say native language, your local language is good for prayer.
in
Not
section
a proof for
47,
you, so
section 3.
that
It said,
will quickly
where
our ancestors.
the card reader or any technological device deployed by INEC for the accreditation of voters fails to function, the election should be cancelled and rescheduled. Where, because there should be no option as to electronically transmission of the election results from the polling unit in real time. Where it is not possible, the election in that polling unit should be cancelled and should be rescheduled. How many times have we cancelled any election because Beavers has not been working? 98% of the time you have been covering all election. Beavers have worked. And whenever Beavers does not work, they replace it. When they talk about this network, you begin to see that this is outright mischief. What am I saying that? Shen, we communicate on WhatsApp. At times you send a message on WhatsApp, and then it might not download because of network. Automatically when the network comes, it downloads. So what is the reason they're talking about? It is no reason. They simply want to sneak into that manual something so that they can manipulate and rig the election. The issue of transfer or no transfer or network or no network is no reason whatsoever.
But don't you think that is a middle point, politically arriving at, yes, for those who debate that there is need for electronic transmission will happen. But those who believe that we have not gotten to the point that we can go all the whole on in achieving electronic transmission of results, let's meet at the middle point. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work,
that's what I'm saying. There's no middle point to meet because we are not doing electronic voting. We're not doing electronic collation. We are simply saying preserve the manual so that everybody will see the election from the polling unit so that you can't go home to manipulate it. We remember what happened in Obiako. We remember what happened in Lagos. Every polling unit result was mutilated, was inflated. We saw it. It is still there on the internet. And that's why I'm saying when they're telling you halfway, no, because we are not doing any electronic voting. We're not doing electronic collation. What we're simply saying, when you finish that your manual,
Atlantic, welcome. I'm telling you, we have Atlantic. We have everybody the para.
When you do any collation,
I'm loving the
energy. Check the regulation and guidelines of INEC. Whenever you finish any collation, the collected result, you transmit immediately to the collation system.
Exactly.
To the IREN. So that
what's hard in that?
We use the electronically preserved copy. It is not electronically.
And what the House of Reps version,
yes,
you know that it was in this present laws, Electoral Act Amendment
I'm telling you, Atlantic.
What the law says
it's not it's your National Assembly. They want to pull a fast one. Now we know we'll brief for them.
In this, the House of Reps version, the sub 60 sub 5, talks about the punishment for anybody who fails to be able to transmit the result. But for those of us who still have institutional memory of our election, and there are governors who are now former governors now, that incident forms became a thing in our courtroom because you know what the law says at the time and guidelines of INEC that when the card reader fails, the INEC official can revert to incident forms, and some states they literally just abandoned the card reader and started using incident forms. But this is an experience I thought that those who are politicians and those who have institutional memory might be able to remember that way was a bad route that we went. But is it okay for us to think that the struggle to achieving 100%, because the lawmakers are saying remove real time, remove simultaneous just leave it as that. The struggle continues. Is that what it looks like now?
Once they put that law that you must transmit from the polling unit, I'm okay. So any presiding officer will not leave the polling unit.
So you want them to remove the provisor?
No, completely. Because that is giving discretion to INEC to use manual. That is what we have been fighting for.
Do you think they can override the version of the House of Reps?
No,
exactly, Atlantic, exactly.
The House of Reps version is the perfect version that a lot of Nigerians want. Real time, simultaneous transmission of the result electronically. The House of Reps version has all of that.
Yes, the House of Reps should go for that to say that where it is not possible to transmit from the polling unit, that election should be cancelled. It is there in the accreditation, which is more difficult. The uploading is just one single action.
But is it going to be fair that all of the process, because I analyzed for our viewers tonight, there are 3 processes. So if you are successful in accreditation, successful in voting, why would you cancel the entire process because you cannot transmit electronically the result?
Because the reason you're doing accreditation, the reason you're doing voting is for the result. So if you do all those things to get a fraudulent result, what have you gained? You have actually emboldened the criminals. You have actually voted for the criminals.
And they tell you, see.
The only problem we have in this
country, I know they pay attention to the guy.
On the day we have free, fair, credible elections in Nigeria, 20 years after that,
I bet more than me like,
take my words for it. America is sustained today not because they don't have bad men, but because power lies with the people. And let me plead with Nigerians. They should not think this job is for the opposition.
No,
Democracy
for everybody.
is not government of APC. It's not government of APC. It's government of the people. Democracy, why I'm fighting is not because I'm in the opposition.
I'm telling you.
I am fighting so that I will have the power to be able to determine who governs me. So that my sons and children will grow up in Nigeria where they have the power to determine who governs them. So this is a fight for all Nigerians. And we must come together, whether you're APC, whether you're PDP or PDP. What we are saying is power should belong to the people. Sovereignty belongs to the people, from whom the government derives all its power. And it is only through election that they exercise that sovereignty. So this fight, Nigerians should know, journalists, everybody, because fraudulent elections produce fraudulent leaders. And everything will not work with fraudulent leaders. Nobody is fighting because he's in opposition. No. We are fighting for the freedom to determine who governs us.
I'd like us to wrap up in this manner, and we ask ourselves the truth. Any progressive-minded person, we want an advancement, a better version of what you did yesterday. It's only a backwater that we think that I want to stay in yesterday. Everybody should naturally think about moving forward. That's why whatever that we improve, our electoral process should be thought about. But the question is that, and this is a challenge perhaps for our leaders in terms of our technological advancement, is it a fact that there are some areas in this country that don't have network? Yes. And let's think carefully on how do we then make provision for these people such that they are not disenfranchised.
Good. Any elder that is telling you that he doesn't have network is fraudulent.
In this country?
Yes. How then has INEC been transmitting all the results from IREF from his own village? Because I'm aware, as you know, I was a spokesperson. I was in the campaign team. I was in the legal process. There's no time INEC has told you that they couldn't transmit any result from any part of Nigeria. And there are agents, there are companies that have assured Nigerians that they can produce the network. You are telling me an organization that took 400 billion naira from Nigerian people cannot for such a serious thing, make provision to have network on that day for a single transaction. And I told you that even if you don't have network and you upload, you can upload. You can upload. Whenever the network comes, it comes in. So anybody telling you that he does not have network is fraudulent. I am saying it and I'm standing by it.
Kenneth Okonkwo is a lawyer and a member of the opposition ADC. Thanks so much indeed for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Good. Hey, your National Assembly, Nigerians na no go gree for them. Meanwhile, Natasha insists that real-time electronic transmission of results is possible, and she urged INEC to partner with Starlink and reminded the Senate that the INEC's budget is 1 trillion naira. She emphasized that limitations are not an excuse for manual intervention. Okay. These people are just playing with lives. I hope Nigerians, may they not let them go. May they hold their blockers. No electronic transmission, no election. That's it. Himself they support.
The expectations of Nigerians who are expecting real-time electronic, transfer to the various levels of, of the elections. But what we got is a mixture of electronic and manual transmission, which is going to cause more confusion or chaos than if we have a single tier, electoral transmission system, which is real-time electronic. That would be our preference. And I think there is need for all the opposition political parties to come together to pursue this issue. I mean, we shouldn't allow it to rest where they wanted it to rest today. Absolutely not. I don't support that.
Sir, will you be contesting for the 2027 election, and why are you here in Mira today?
Is it the first time that you are seeing me here? Certainly not. I have always come here to pay my respects. The issue of contesting 2027 election does not even arise. I am a member of ADC, and we are busy trying to make sure that our structures are firmly rooted, from the world level, local government level, state level, up to the national level. And we are busy mobilizing people and also registering at the same time.
What's your opinion about the zoning conversation? With ADC be zoning to any particular?
We have no zoning provision in the ADC's constitution. In fact, the only party that has zoning in its constitution is PDP.
Meanwhile, northern Nigerians don dey drag Remi Tinubu for by her hair, the remaining hair wey dey her head. Since she come, when she dey try to milk the fact say Donald Trump call her name as a pastor of a very big church. You know, I read a comment somewhere on I think, was it a TikTok video I saw on Twitter? I can't remember now. This person, the way I saw this comment, the person said that Remi Tinubu does not understand what Donald Trump meant by that. Donald Trump was literally announcing to everybody present that here is a wife of the Nigerian president, pastor in a big church where there's a massacre going on. Because after that, Donald Trump doubled down about sending the action that took place in December 25th, saying that it was a gift to Christians so that it will forever be etched in their memory that yes, on Christmas Day, they send message to the terrorists. So the person now said, instead of them to really, because they know they think critically, they just run. Oh, he welcome us. Oh, he's very nice to us. Oh, they respect Nigerian politicians aside, leaders aside. You know, say the man, they do yimu for back to her. Shortly after that, she wanted to see the man. They block him. Security block her ass. Say, where you go? Where do you think you are going to? She tried to go and talk in one station. The journalist say, lie, you're not coming to use my platform to lie. It's not going to happen. I beg you.
Internet to transmit results.
Mona, they hear this one.
Wait now, you see, internet. What is the coverage of internet in Nigeria, please? You don't understand the semantics that is happening at the National Assembly. It has nothing to do with rigging. As far as
I'm telling you, Sid. I'm very happy Obi Lisi that came out. I really happy for that one.
We will not be making effort, concerted effort to bring people that know that consequential to this election.
Mikey, you're wicked.
If you have a president that has won,
I don't forget though. Person use that one too.
That can deliver for this period.
Oh my God. I feel attacked. Michael, I feel attacked.
So don't let us forget that. It's not just for the
oh my goodness.
Election.
Nigerians and their mouths, my goodness.
If you are insisting as a law that you want to put in our law that election results must be transmitted. What happens if there's no internet to transfer those results? What happens? How where will you get it? And if I was I stay in Barifa,
now they hear the mumu.
I don't have internet. I have to come outside. It's fine. And I'm in city. We're talking about villages where there are no internet.
Hey, whoa, guy, walele don't show. I bet let's mute. Let's mute first. Maybe guy, walele in the house. Wait, Tracy. Where is Tracy when you need her? Guy, walele, welcome. Oh, good to see you in the comments. Oh my God. Hugs to you. I hope everything is good. Gawalele, don't come back. Good to have you back, oh my brother. Thank you. Good to see you. She doesn't get it because all she's focused on. PO showed up. Now others are rushing for their self. I'm telling you, did you guys see Amechi with hand? We wear white agbada. Put hand for waist.
The issue of internet you just talked about. You see, sometimes I am surprised when people who we see and we think that they should understand certain things just because of propaganda or your love for APC. You are sounding somehow, and it's not fair because we are young people. Sorry.
See, senior man, Ghana, if you want to talk this way, you just talk away. People who you expect is supposed to get sense, not get sense. It's simple.
Oh, thank you so much, guy. I appreciate the super chat. My brother, good to have you back.
You have him in your family. Please admit this guy to the nearest psychiatrist because what
He said to Michael Spring,
a diagnosis for a mental health problem.
I'm telling you.
He has a mental health crisis.
Yes.
It can be midlife crisis, but there's particularly a problem.
Yeah.
He has a problem and he should be admitted.
Yep.
He needs help.
Yep.
Because I cannot understand how somebody look at how contradictory his statements were. Only you say the election has been decided. Only you say it's not about rigging. Only you say they are bringing men of concerted NA and all of that nonsense just because you want to make a case. And it is only in Nigeria where APC members defend INEC. INEC is supposed to be an umpire. That is the more reason Nigerians cannot trust it. No. The fact that
oh, my love to her, please. Let me send her flowers to get well quick.
That is working for you.
Oh,
it's supposed to be
Tracy, darling. Let me send her a message. Actually,
in some countries they have constitutional courts. Just when the judiciary is not supposed to be it's not supposed to be likely to anybody. They say the blindfold is so that he doesn't see anybody. Everybody see court before it. He's blinded to whoever you are, sentiments, emotions, nothing. It deals with the facts. That's how. So it is only in Nigeria where they continue to make excuses for it. Because of course this is the plan. Why are you bothered? If Nigerians want a foolproof system to get in elections freer, and more credible, why are you the one being spokesperson? I'm seeing all sort of narrative to say we are not qualified, we are not ready. Yet in the same election, the National Assembly vote or National Assembly collation or transmission went through. How many results did you hear that had issues in National Assembly? Everybody that are in the National Assembly today, House of Rep, House of Senate, all of them went through the election and they had transmission. When he got to the presidency, they said it was glitch. Now we say the court should prove to make that a reason for elections to be cancelled. The court said that
I'm telling you, CD
was given to INEC.
with his big belly.
So no, let's go back to the law. Let's go back to the law to ensuring that whatever this thing may have been in the guideline, the INEC has accepted. Now the problem is that it is not outsiders. That's where this investment. It is not even outsiders, not Nigerians, not me and you that is suggesting to INEC to say put her into your law. INEC has it as a guideline. As far back as 2015, 2016, INEC agreed that they had a game changer for our elections and they introduced BVAS, RF, and the in-transmission. Unfortunately, it was only their guidelines. The Electoral Act of 2022 did not capture it to become mandatory. Elections Act of 2023, we failed the litmus test. Now we are saying put it in law so that INEC is now fully backed by law to using it, and that is all. Don't finish on a mouth. I was speaking to my brother around a couple of minutes ago before I switched on this camera. Now would they say, now these people, now would they say
later? Thank you very much, guy. I appreciate it. Thank you.
The one I would talk about just as the one sneak good governance come for us. Get ready, they want to hijack good governance inside them. These are the same people that says no, we cannot govern, we cannot win from outside, we have to get inside, and then this one are APC people, they are inside. Is this the same people that we are expecting to produce good governance? This one is Akpabio not better than this guy. Akpabio at his age, better person. He thinks better than him. Akpabio has a more deeper thinking than this one, this Muso now, with due respect. This is how the kind of people you are expecting to bring magic.
I'm telling you.
They die as truth. We are even trending we are walking in a path that is even treacherous and very dangerous to where we are coming from.
I'm telling you.
People that are in the ruling parties.
Hey!
Enter inside, let's hijack it. Now if you want to take that track with this, because you want to go and teach devil, demons, how to play for you. You want to go and hijack good government, you want to go and hijack it. See where people are at today. And with this kind of people around the APC, there's no hope for the party. I am more resolved. I am more confident in the fact that this party is demonic and should not.
It is
can be thinking like this.
Demonic from hell.
I will pay you out, sir. I will pay you out, sir. I'll pay you out. There is disgrace and embarrassment. Who I know you will know my name. You make defense for nonsense like this. You can make any form of explanation. You can explain anything else. but to say na internet in 2026, the villages and all of that, a disgrace. Admit yourself to a psychiatric hospital.
Oh, yeah. Let's switch to Arise News. Okay, I got a few videos. By the way, Kenneth, thank you for sharing the video with me. People don't send me videos today. Thank you. You are, even as I talk about Tracy don't drop video for me as well. Tracy, my darling sister, please take care of yourself. Come back quick. Come back. I need you.
So wait, what's the catch?
Okay.
Former presidential candidate Peter Obi led protesters, including civil society organizations, to the National Assembly on Monday, demanding the inclusion of mandatory electronic transmission of election results in the Electoral Act amendment. The protest, joined by activist Aisha Yusufu and other civil society advocates, highlighted public anger over the Senate's removal of clauses mandating real-time electronic transmission of results. Protesters carried placards with messages such as "Akpabio, don't destroy our democracy," and "Stop betrayal of the ballot." Obi urged lawmakers to reconsider, stating Nigeria had suffered the consequences of flawed elections in the past. The Senate had earlier explained that real-time transmission was removed due to concerns over network failures, but public pressure has intensified. We'll now have a conversation with the General Secretary, Alliance for Credible Elections, Umar Odi, on protests by CSOs against the non-adoption of real-time transmission of election results. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Thank you for having me, Temitope.
So let's start with what transpired at the emergency plenary session. The Senate approved a dual-mode system for transmitting election results, requiring electronic transfer to a central portal, but also allowing manual collation as backup. Is that good enough for you?
It is not. We reject it in totality. The committee he set up came up with the same version that Federal House of Representatives passed in December 2025. Real-time transmission of election results from the polling unit to annex server. Why we do not know what INEC is afraid of. What they did today is to even give opportunity for INEC to rig our elections. They can decide that they didn't see network in my village and disenfranchise my people, but they even give them any kind of result they want, especially when the candidate contesting is not their favored candidate. So what Senate did today simply is to provide more opportunity for INEC to rig the election. So what we are asking is the version that House of Representatives passed in December 2025. We say real-time transmission of election results from the polling units to the annex server. Stop talking about network or there's no network. Last year, November 8th, the same INEC transmitted results from the polling units to the annex server within 3 hours in Anambra all-circle governorship election. And they did it in Edo and the Ondo year 2020, Anambra year 2021, Ekiti and Osun year 2022. Why are we changing this language? And we are here because Supreme Court's judgment declared in year 2023 that it is INEC prerogative to do it. Now we are back and saying, National Assembly, you are here representing citizens, and you are here to make laws. Please strengthen this Electoral Act of year 2022 to make it mandatory real-time transmission of election results to INEC server. Why are they dancing around the music? And to even put insult to the injury, they are even saying when there is no network. Why is it that there is no network? All the things they have done for the past 3 years is look for a way to rig elections. That's what the Senate have done. And they are not even, we are the ones who organized protest march, Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room, yesterday in the National Assembly, with Motion and Action Aid and other civil society organizations before the obedient people came. We were there before they came. We were there last week. We were there last week on the 28th. We were there yesterday. And some other groups are there today because I've been there this morning. What we are saying is simple, unambiguous. Real-time transmission of election results from the polling unit to annex server. That's even the committee and Akpabio set up came up with that position. Why is Akpabio afraid of real-time transmission of election results from the polling unit to annex server? What is his problem with it? Even if we want to rig election, and you are making it very obvious that you want to rig election. Because when we enter that National Assembly next time, what we'll be asking for is Akpabio to resign. He's the enemy of democracy. He's the enemy of good government. He's the enemy of making positive laws for the good and well-being of the citizens. So why is he there? to serve his interest, pocket and the stomach, and the interest of his co-travelers. No, we are saying no. He has to, the combined committee that will look at it, we have to bring back what the House of Representatives passed last December, real-time transmission of election results, and stop giving an excuse to rig our elections. We have not come out of the year 2023 rigged elections, and you are providing more opportunities for rigging of elections. It's not acceptable to us, Nigerian civil society situation room members. It's not acceptable to our partners. This is enough, and we will not take it. We are going to go back to the protest because we didn't get anything we are asking for. And we just call emergency meeting to look for another way to rig elections.
Honestly, see, we should just push for electronic voting. Honestly, this is the time to even demand for it. Let's go all the way.
And the combined committee of the Senate and the House of Rep must put what House of Rep passed, or they should wait for us. We are coming.
Now, Uma, I'm just wondering, beyond protest, what other options are available to compel the adoption of real-time transmission? Because it seems from the body language of the senators, it's going to take quite a lot of convincing for them to actually give in to your demands.
Holy shit, listen to this. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you say that one more?
Already correcting signatures of the citizens. We also, when we finish asking Akpabio to resign,
don't mind Supreme Court, use corrupt. This is part of the problem. Judiciary, after we deal with INEC, judiciary is a problem. Judiciary, are they not going to turn the law on its face?
We are not going to be dancing alone in the front of national. We are going to take concrete actions and steps to force them to do what we want. Less than 1% of the population. That they are the ones enjoying all the wealth of the country, and we are the ones who are suffering. And collective resources, they are stealing it and doing corruption upon corruption. One thing we are asking for: free, fair, peaceful, inclusive, credible elections. We are not asking for more because we know it is connected to good governance. And if we have good governance, poverty will drastically reduce, insecurity will be minimized, and education and health will be addressed. Because all this bad governance happening is connected to the lead election of year 2023 general elections. Akpabio did not participate in primaries, but we have a compromised judiciary. That's why he's sitting as the Senate president, dictating to us. We are asking for real-time transmission, and he's giving INEC more time to rig our elections. And we are back to where we were yesterday, when we were in the front of National Assembly. It's unacceptable to us, and we will respond. We are going back to the street because we did not get what we wanted.
Now, some analysts believe that it is time for INEC to speak up. So what responsibility really does INEC bear in reassuring Nigerians about the feasibility of electronic transmission, and to reassure Nigerians that we will not have a repeat of the technical glitches that we experienced in 2023?
The responses coming from INEC is as confused as confusion itself. So we are not even engaging INEC now. We are engaging the legislature to pass a law that will compel INEC not to rig our elections, to conduct free, fair, peaceful, inclusive, and credible elections. Because they are giving INEC opportunities to rig this election. The INEC gave us assurances, promises last time. They never delivered on the promise. What is it that they will deliver on another promise? INEC, the problem is that the person contesting the election appointed INEC chairman and national commissioners and resident commissioners, state resident commissioners. So what else do you expect? What else do you expect? But we are going to engage INEC. We are not going to sleep. Because we saw hope. We saw flashes of hope in year 2020, 21, 22. That was why we allowed Professor Yakub Mahmoud to take us on a journey that ended in hellfire. So we are not going to allow that. First of all, when we get this law, timely transmission, real-time transmission, mandatory transmission, the INEC level, we now face INEC. We don't have any confidence in INEC. That is the truth. Well, we are going to make them to deliver. Because they promised us last time, they didn't deliver, and they didn't change. And the only thing that even they would, if it's the last one, that last one will be speaking the language we understand, and will be clapping for them. This one is speaking language we don't understand. But that's not the issue. The issue of today is that Akpabio, who did not win any primary election, and if we had judiciary in the country, he will not be in the Senate.
Bam!
If he will not do what we want. Next time he enters National Assembly, we will be asking for his resignation. He has not represented the people. He has not represented Nigerians.
Yes.
He has not represented the country.
Yes.
We are talking like this because we fought for this democracy. Akpabio did not fight for democracy.
Bam.
We were arrested and beaten in the streets of Lagos. I drank tear gas to my satisfaction. This democracy that Akpabio is joking with does not come free. It came with the blood of Nigerians.
Bam.
So he didn't contribute anything to fight for democracy. People were dissolution.
Oh,
people are disappointed.
this woman
People are
dey
tired.
ginger me.
And when those opportunities see the situation and the disillusionment of the people, they always use it as opportunity to come. We don't want them to come. We want to settle this with Akpabio. It's not to be abusing our regents. He will come to book launch and abuse those who sacrifice everything to make democracy possible. He will be abusing them, opening his mouth because he does not understand the price for democracy.
Bam!
He can open his mouth and abuse people. He didn't contest for the primary election.
Bam!
He didn't know what it takes to be there. So now he won the election to be in Senate.
Now, let me take you up there. You know, some analysts believe that
this woman don't
issue
scatter my
of focusing
brain,
on
no.
real-time
I love
translation of
her.
election results, you know, there's a risk that it overshadows other fundamental electoral problems that we have in Nigeria. For instance, the issue of faulty party primaries, you have alluded to that. The issue of vote buying, you know, vote selling, the issue of voter apathy, the issue of ballot snatching. There are so many issues that we should be tackling together, not just focusing only on one aspect. What are your thoughts on that? Very briefly as we wrap up.
If you're building a company, you need to be using RAM.
Okay, my thought on it is that when we get this one, we know there are so many issues. We're also addressing other issues of reduction of timetable for general election from 360 days to 180. We're also addressing it. But we are saying that the only game changer we have seen for the 10 years Yakub mismanagement of INEC was this transmission of election results from the polling units. Because I have seen voters
exactly, Sydney. Everybody needs to shut down everywhere.
And voted for the candidates of their choice. That you want to vote does not mean that they voted for you. But that does not mean that I'm supporting vote buying. But I am saying that vote buying and selling. We saw people in Ghana presidential election in year 2024 December, even selling votes. It didn't affect the results. So anyhow, we want transmission. That's the only game changer we have seen. Transmission of election results from polling unit to annex server. And for everybody viewing portal, every one of us to view it. Because it is impossible to compromise on that. Because the weakest link of election processes is the correlation of election results.
Bam.
By the time you move from polling unit to registrations, ward level, they change the figures. By the time we move from ward centers to local government area, they change other results. That's why we are insisting on this real-time transmission of election results. That is why we are insisting. If we have it, well, there are other problems, like ensuring that the president is not the one to appoint our chairman and national commission. So those ones, we will get there. But this is the one we have seen tangible results. And that was the only reason that majority of the youths came out in year 2022 and 23 to register, to participate, to vote. That was the game changer. And now when they voted and greed happened, many of them japa, many of them lost hope. Many of them are saying, where is the salvation? Our participation in the protest, in the correction of election signatures, is also going to ask for recall. It's also to give hope to our teeming youths that we are here and we will not leave them orphaned. We will walk this path with them.
God
and we will
bless
show
you,
that
Mama.
Senate did what they are supposed to do.
Yes!
What they did today is unacceptable. And that's the minimum we can have. They must give us real-time transmission.
Bam!
Your point is definitely
Maudi,
General Secretary,
correct woman. We need
so much for joining us on Newsday.
God go bless this woman. It's too much. Kilode. Ewola. It's too much. Video. Tracy Jode. Tracy is even still looking out for me while she's Tracy. Tracy, do come back. Drink all the ginger tea, I beg.
I have just 3 points to make. One, let me start by emphasizing the issue of sovereignty. We are running a modern nation state, and it is thriving on the concept of sovereignty. And
Flagship, welcome, sir. Greetings to you. Abokian.
And this was done in 1648. You can check the.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Go to the roots or the foundations of the whole structure of state and governance. Ultimately, that is what is going to sustain. And so it's important we emphasize the fact that sovereignty belongs to the people.
Yes.
And therefore, if you block the popular will of the people, you are basically destroying sovereignty, you are destroying nation state. Some of the people who are doing a lot of this mess, a lot of them are a bunch of ignorant people. They have not gone to school, many of them. Their certificates are in question. They are involved in so many crimes.
Yes.
We have the records. You, the press, have been reporting on some of these. So how can we allow a bunch of criminals to come and destroy our country? This is what the rise against this thing is all about. It's not that, many of us are not likely to contest any election. There may be others who will. But we are not here because we want to contest the elections. No, we're here because we want to salvage. We want to salvage our country. You know very well how terrible the image, and this is the second point, how terrible the image of this country has gone down. You have heard about tribalism, I'm sure, isn't it?
Yeah, politics.
I just went to AI and tried to get some updates, and I was surprised. I read you the first paragraph. This is something you can check from your phone. Just, go to Google or your search platform and just write tribalism. What did he say? Tribalism is a political concept notably analyzed by Richard Joseph regarding Nigeria, where state offices are treated as personal entitlements by office holders. It involves the systematic abuse of public office for personal, kin, ethnic, and religious enrichment, often through corruption, patronage, rent-seeking, rather than public service. It goes on and on. Look at this reference to Nigeria.
It's just my personal friends.
So the point I'm making is that if we don't take care, the whole world will be a pioneer state. Serious. Nobody now wants to deal with Nigeria. Except criminals. Criminals will come because that's their identity.
Yep.
And they do work with criminals. Look at the big names and the big businesses.
Exactly.
That are making really the money in this because it's an era of criminals. And we have got to do something about it. We're not here for a joke, please. At our age, we really don't have much to look forward other than to make sure that the struggles we have started in our youth, we have continued until we can salvage this country. One final point. You see, the real concern is that this country may not survive the manipulations of the criminals in politics.
I'm telling you.
What happens if it doesn't? You have seen what happened to Somalia. You have seen what happened to Liberia. You have seen what happened to Peru, Chile, so many other countries around the world. Whenever the system collapses, look at Sudan. It will take another 30, 40, 50 years before it comes back to normal. I see faces of young people here. Your future is contingent on the continuity of Nigeria. What this Senate is doing is basically puncturing that future. It's actually destroying it. Some of them may not even have the mind to see the consequences. They are just out for primitive accumulation, collecting money and money and money, and living vulgar life. But you as young people, you are the ones who should be more concerned than some of us. Because if this election of 2027 fails, we don't know what's going to happen to this country.
I'm telling you.
That's why we are concerned. So it's a very serious business. It is like crossing a very difficult, if you like, bridge that is tangling. If that bridge does not become stable and you cross it, that can be the end of this country. And therefore, it's a very serious business. And I'm happy when I saw the news this morning. Some, I understand, have gone to the National Assembly with their beds, with their mattresses. We need to all mobilize to occupy or even send these idiots that are bringing this country down the drain. We have got to do something about it. It's not a joke. Thank you very much.
Earlier, this guy was addressed by.
Okay, let's listen to. And sorry, I want to play Patutomi Zone as well. Okay, Muna ready for me. The videos are coming.
To be honest,
back to back.
Sometimes I actually have no idea what's going on until I open Monday.com. And boom, everything.
Now, as Nigeria approaches the 2027 elections, early political ripples are sending warning signals nationwide. Party tensions, regional alliances, and governance performance are shaping voter expectations, while civil society warns of risks from misinformation and voter apathy. Stakeholders are mobilizing at the grassroots, aiming to secure influence in key states. Experts say ignoring these early warning bells could affect the transparency and fairness of the elections. Preparation now will determine whether Nigeria navigates these political ripples peacefully or faces turbulent electoral waters.
Okay, joining us live on Daybreak this morning is Dr. Unisa Tanko, the National Coordinator of the Obedience Movement and former National Chairman of the Independent Party Advisory Council. He is a key political stakeholder with a deep experience in party politics and civil mobilization, and he will be sharing his perspective.
Exactly, Sydney. I'm happy though Nigerians are waking up. That NAS, they should not allow them work. Everybody should just pack their load and go and be taking free AC, free lights in the NAS. I'm telling you, Nigerians need to mobilize and go to that National Assembly. Now we get the house anyway.
Just being defiant of the constraining reality that some people have picked in our electoral narrative. We're talking about the constraint of technology, that some rural areas may be constraining the application of this technology, and for that reason, the real-time transmission.
I don't know all these people, all these journalists. I don't know them.
Of INEC. How would you react to this?
Okay, thank you and good morning for everyone. And let me just use the opportunity to pay a tribute to Mr. Ariyo Atwede, who was part of the people who identified the need for an electoral reform, and then being cascaded down again by Mr. Peter Aka and the rest of us who followed suit immediately. During the 2023 general election, we realized that there's a lacuna in the Electoral Act. Of course, some of the political parties that we were together in the Inter-Party Advisory Council actually have been championing the issue of electoral reform. Now, let me make a clarification. There is a kind of a misinformation that Section 222 of the Electoral Act that is being retained by the National Assembly was being precipitated on the fact that some areas do not have network, and that there is this particular word that they are trying to manipulate, transfer and transmit. To transfer means that at any time you could decide to transfer, just like you transferring money. But remember also, at the time in which you are transferring money, the bank ensures that they transmit immediately. You know, transmission means at the time in which you transfer, it's reached that particular person. So there are two words, but they are being manipulated in a way to mean one thing. So the National Assembly idea of trying to say, we've already approved the issue of transfer and all. The question is that if you and I who live in the village want to do transfer of money, it goes immediately. Why is it difficult for you to transfer or transit election results? So that's to tell you there's a question mark in it.
You don't think that perhaps looking at it from the other side, that this is just an attempt to ensure that they don't toy or gamble with the electoral process, and they're trying to be realistic as much as possible?
There's not anything about realistic here. It shows our deficiency. For any country like, for example, India, who has more population, possibly more bigger landmark, and the number of voters and all, can transmit results at real time immediately for over millions of voters.
Billions. Billions in the billions.
Billions in there, yes. They can transfer results at that particular time. What happened to us? In fact, if you are real and you are serious as a nation, it should be a shame on ourselves and the leaders in the National Assembly. But at this point, let me also appreciate some of the senators, using Senator Abaribe as a point of contact, who were able to come out and say, this is exactly what took place. This is just to encourage those who are developing cold feet in challenging the status quo. Right. Yes, because some of them have come out and say, this is exactly, because many of us wouldn't have known that there was actually an attempt to manipulate the system where it was not correct. So the truth about it is that we should have even found out and insist that those areas that is assumed not to have any network, the National Assembly should give a marching order to show that you are progressive. Go and make sure there is power in that particular area, and there's also, they can easily transfer those particular results at real time. This is a marching order. That's to show you that you are interested in giving credible election. Look, ladies and gentlemen, none of us is doing this because we have a personal interest. No, we just want a credible election that will bring in credible leaders. We, and His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, is saying that we need to change this narrative. We are always docile in the fact that we are minors, we can't do this, we can't do this. Peter Obi, for example, traveled to 3 states in one day, in 3 states solving our 4 issues. He was in Asaba, Asaba to Enugu, Enugu to Lagos, Lagos back to Asaba, Asaba back to Lagos and to Kano, and then he was able to do this. That's to show you there's an energy in this particular individual. What I'm trying to use as an example is to show that, look, we need to be progressive in our action of solving problems, not to always use that, just like we go, if you are traveling along Nigerian road, you see a policeman in an area where the roads are bad. They use the area where the roads are bad to form the bus cascade. That's to show you that, look, we are, exposing ourselves. That's so you use our bad area to use it as an advantage to people who are in position of power. It has to stop. They should have used that particular opportunity and said this road must be repaired and all. Federal road safety. You see them on federal road safety. You see custom and all. That is exactly what the Senate is doing.
All right. The thing is now is what's the plan? If the Senate reconvenes and there is harmonization, at the end of the day, this is not passed. We know you're already at the National Assembly occupying there, protesting. What's the plan? This is not the first time we've had protests in this country, and what the public wanted did not finally go through.
I remember my experience as a field marshal of Save Nigeria. Let's say, just like what you said, we had experience in things being not done. We are interested, we are determined to take this further. This country must be repaired now.
And further, you mean?
Yes, we must take that decision now. A lot of people...
What do you mean by further?
What I mean is that every time we have a stopgap in an area, we say this is our demand. And then when they do maybe abracadabra and manage it, and everybody go back to rest and think that everything is dandy. No, it is not dandy until when we have credible election in this country. So we are not going to stop. And we're not encouraging anybody to stop. Because without credible election, we cannot have credible leaders. Without credible leaders, we cannot have credible governance in this country. Without credible governance in this country, we cannot have good governance, which we champion. Because we want Nigeria to be better than the way it is, so that everybody, most of our people who are out of the country, can come back home and add to the development of the country. We cannot continue to allow these people to continue in this narrative and continue to submerge this country like a submarine under the water, and then we cannot do anything. We must, as a people. Yesterday, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi took a lot of people by storm by coming out because they doubted that whether he's going to come out. But he did, and then that shows leadership. And that shows energy. At the same time, we are expecting more people. Look, Nigeria is not for one person, it's for every one of us. And people are busy collecting Mr. President's money. It is our money. Use this money for the benefit of every Nigerian. It is our money. Nobody's... Look, when you look at the narrative and ask yourself, what did Mr. President do as a businessman to earn this particular money that is distributing to you? None. In Kano yesterday, I met somebody in Kano, and he was like, Mr. Peter Obi, I met you, I am one of your distributors. He alluded to the fact that Mr. Peter Obi was a businessman. You understand? So, in that similar fact, to tell you that this is somebody who is managing resources, who can generate resources, administer it, and maintain it, and give accountability. Okay. In this case, many governments are collecting so much funds, many governments are collecting Nigerian money and individual, and they feel justifiable for doing that. It is treasonable offense against the Nigerian people. It should not be tolerated in any way.
Okay. Now, what other reforms do you think are urgently needed besides the e-transmission?
Well, there is this particular issue about the issue of nomadic politicians who move from point A to point B. I know some other person will pick me up on this. Yes. So let me explain. With laws that can enable people to remain where they are, people will not move. And why they move, in the case of my principal, he moved justifiably because of certain reasons about the issue of not making the laws that can make sure that nobody moves. I give a case as an example. You have a candidate who has said this A, B, C, D is wrong. Internal democracy cannot be done in this way, it must be done in this way. Now, the government in power, instead of them making sure that the rules are done accordingly, they infiltrate that particular party to ensure that that particular candidate does not get that particular candidate, and making it verbally known. So in that case, what do you expect him to do? Who want to make sure that there's changes in this country? He cannot remain in that particular. But if the right things are being done, we won't have people moving from one party to another.
Dr. Tanko, on that point, is it about moving to another party, or is it about losing your position when you move? Because you cannot stop people from moving, but they have to lose the benefit when they move.
Exactly. Now, in Ghana, for example,
because in the UK, party, some cabinet members have already moved to another party, so
yes.
It is losing your position.
Look at the way we do ours. You will take my own position. I sold a manifesto of a political party to you. You voted me in. And when I got into that particular, and I trade that of discussion I had with you and go into another position, it's not acceptable. You can't trade before, and say, I'm moving. So I'm not telling you anything. The new party in which I'm moving to, and then it must have a stipulated time. We want to do that. That way, it will give credibility to the process. So we must ensure that particular clause that says if there is no problem in one political party or the other, and then you cannot. No, that is divisive. It's just an idea to manipulate the system and the people. Once you say you move out of that political party, you lose your seat, you are out, then go and open it up for another contest. Okay. That's how it's supposed to be. It will serve as a solution to most of the problem of dogmatism in Nigeria.
I'd like to thank you. Just to put this conversation in a proper perspective, there are those who would say that Mr. Peter Obi and the supporters and the protesters of this, the advocates of this real-time electronic transmission of results have some inordinate political interest because against the backdrop of the National Assembly saying that it's going to have an emergency meeting today to take a second look at the electoral draft. Some people find this, some people have argued that this is an issue of utter disregard to the process of the National Assembly, starting the protest on Monday when you knew the National Assembly would be taking a look at the draft.
Everything is wrong with us, believe me. We have a country where expenditure is being done without even passing the bills, without even knowing how the bills are, the budget is being expended, without being expended accordingly. We have an issue in this country where every institution is being glorified. So everything is wrong. If not that those particular senators, and some of us have come out and said no to this, we wouldn't have had that particular opportunity and say, look, they are going to revisit it. Our demand has always been that they should revisit it, sit back, have a combined National Assembly sitting from both the Federal House of Reps and Senate.
Sorry, I said proper perspective. I wanted to say broader perspective. So that does not disregard any of the points that have been carried.
Yeah. So they must sit and know that they're representing the people.
They just hire these journalists.
What did the same thing that happened in the tax law? Line by line, then people in Nigeria maybe will have to take note of what was agreed and approved, so that nobody will come again through the back door and manipulate the words for us. No, we want to see line by line and agree on it. In this case, and everybody who is voting passively can also say, yes, I voted for this or against it. This is happening in developed countries. We are saying it. In fact, the voters have been put on the public domain. We know who did this or who did, because Nigerians are watching.
Right.
And they want to know who is representing them correctly, so that by the time you come back home, whether you are going to give you flour or chase you with cane, because it has happened already in some other areas in the north. People are being chased, and look, there's dignity in labor. Dignity for this country. We must face it. Nobody will do it for us. And we call ourselves the giant of Africa, and look at it. We are gianting down below. It's totally unacceptable.
Okay. Talk to us about your principal and his foray into the African Democratic Congress and his chances with contending figures that are also, or maybe also interested in the presidential election. I mean, the elections are very close, barely a year away, and we don't know what's happening in that party. Are you confident that your principal stands a chance?
My confidence lies on my principal for the fact that he has shown the level of resilience and determination. He has also made it clear right from the beginning that he did not go into any coalition because of his personal interest. He's going into the coalition because he wants to see Nigeria work, and it must be tailored around a program of building in Nigeria.
So wait, what's the catch? That's what most people ask when they hear about SMUD's brand new home
of our dream. Be asked me, he also realized that during the 2023 general election, yes, he has made a lead, a movement, and a voting process that have brought in unbelievable vote that was allocated to him. But at the same time, too, it is time for him to also advance further to ensure that he carries everybody along who are having doubting Thomases before. And that was why, when people come around and say, look, let's work together, let us build a nation. And then he said, okay, fine, if you are building a nation that will work, let all of us come together. That was why he has to go into a coalition. Remember, this coalition is only for individual candidates and individual Nigerians. The coalition can metamorphose into political parties. There are two different things. The parties, some parties can come and say, we are also joining this particular coalition. So at this point, there is a building of trust among every Nigerian who wants a change, a genuine change for the country. And that's the reason why he went in. And at the same time, we are believing that Nigerians should be able to see the difference from a Peter Obi and other candidates. This is somebody who is a builder of resources, manager of resources, executor of resources, building bridges, credibility, accountability, consistency, and compassion. This is what he has already shown over the years, to a point in which he has challenged everybody. Bring out anything against me, if you have, and then I will explain for you. So nobody has given up on it. So in that case, we are confident that the Nigerian people and the people in the coalition will be able to see the difference and say, look, let's give it to this gentleman.
I want to take you up on what you're saying and go a little bit into details on this obedient movement.
Yes.
What do you think is the greatest strength and weakness going forward into 2027?
Why you want to know our weakness? Why you want to know people weakness?
Do you still have that?
Oh, we do. I can tell you, because we've shown it within the same short period of time. You see what happened. You saw what happened in Asaba. Our movement coming. In fact, there were confession by people. They thought probably we are only on the social media. We are not. We are more beyond that. And today, if you go to Kano, Kaduna, Sokoto, everywhere, the Nigerian youth are resilient and they are determined. They are not waiting for tomorrow again. They are the leaders of the day. Because they have been, you know why? They have been able to see the difference that many Nigerians and leaders have been cutting away, stealing.
And the weakness, before we go, and the weakness.
Okay, well, the weakness on our part is our ability to continue to galvanize this youth together and taking away the issue of difference of religion, tribe, but face Nigeria as a king.
Quite interesting. Alaji Tanko Yunusa is the...
I guess the person asking the question is of the view that perhaps there are some people who can fund a reaction to election matters in a way that is against the interest of some other people. Whereas election matters is the same for every citizen. So if there are some people who will fund discussing elections against the interest of others, it means that you're suggesting that those who don't want credible elections exist and have power. So you are saying, therefore, and this is because I'm getting very angry in the way I respond to questions these days. Because the media is the problem. It is the problem in Nigeria.
Yes.
You come on television, show Okepalo says to you, the people who are, what's this? Nonsense, the people who are disgruntled against who?
Exactly.
Nonsense. But it's deliberately designed to create a narrative.
Yes.
That those who have power have something, and then some people who don't have it want to disagree with them.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, Jonathan, if you're in my class and you ask that kind of stupid question, you will fail. Okay? The media should stop allowing those narratives to take concrete form. It is the reification of a myth, as language of professional teaching in journalism. People are reifying myths. The Nigerian people want credible elections. And so the Nigerian people, wherever they are, even if they are political parties, let me even say that, have a right and a duty to seek credible elections. So trying to make it, are these politicians from some party? Why should that be a problem? Yes, they are not. They are civil society people. They are citizens who want their country to have dignity. Right now, Nigeria is a joke when you talk about elections in the world. And I'm talking as somebody who has sat down with world leaders, Secretary of State in America, Prime Minister in Canada, and those. and they laugh about the elections in Nigeria. Do you want that kind of disgrace and humiliation to continue in your country? I have a personal statement that I will distribute to you also about this. And I'm saying that the Attorney General of Nigeria has the duty to prosecute leaders of the National Assembly who have broken the agency function and their obligation for representing the Nigerian people.
Exactly.
And actually using their positions to propound criminality perspectives of preventing the will of the people from being the outcome of elections. Attorney General, if you use the US model, that's why the Attorney General's office is sort of independent of the executive branch. That's why Senator Sessions resigned under the current, somebody I know, I've had lunch with. He resigned as Attorney General because you're supposed to have a certain independence, even if you're part of that executive, because you represent the interest of the people. So this Attorney General should begin prosecuting Senate leaders who are deliberately carrying out a coup against the Nigerian people by trying to confuse the elections process so that rigging is possible. And so where are the funding of such people coming from? For 50 years, I've been in the trenches in this country. Nobody has ever given me funds from anywhere. I've used money from my pocket. I ran Pachicho's gang on TV for 20 years. Companies were afraid to advertise on it. But I kept the money from my pocket. Why did you ask me then, where's the funding for Pachicho's gang coming from? So we have to be careful as reporters that we do not become part of the problem. Marshal McLuhan said back in the 60s that the medium is the message. The medium is the massage. Don't massage the news in a way that does damage Nigerian people. If not, the day that the people will rise, you will be part of the target. And the people will rise soon. I'm assuring you, where Nigeria is going, there will be a people's revolution. And those who think that they are complicit, who are complicit, but who think that, by the time these things begin to happen, they'll be able to tell you from the guys who are doing the evil. All of us will pay the price. Now, part of what has happened is that the judiciary is losing credibility in Nigeria almost completely. This is dangerous for Nigeria because central to civilization, modern civilization, is the rule of law. And if the judiciary cannot be trusted, the rule of law is lost. All is lost. And so in these remarks, I have said that among the 7 we won't find a particular one, urgent requests that the Nigerian Bar Association should start a process of investigation for delisting all judges and lawyers who have played roles in reducing the legitimacy of the judiciary. Besides, they are playing those roles, and media can contribute to seeing this. I've also called for international action. You see, and I have to be very honest with you, we talk about sovereignty and all this stuff.
If you own company stock that's gone up tremendously in value since you've owned it,
1996, under Abacha, I took a sabbatical leave and left this country to campaign around the world that institutions, national institutions, are so weak in some poor countries that we need supranational institutions. I went before editorial boards of newspapers in Europe, in North America, to canvass this. Most of them said to me, it will not happen. And I told them the story of how sovereignty emerged. I talked about the so-called defenestration of Prague. How many of you are familiar with the defenestration of Prague? When in 1618, the Holy Roman Empire, as the Germans pretended to be emperors of, sent delegates to Prague and they threw them out of the window. That's what's called the defenestration of Prague. They started the so-called 30 Years' War in Europe. It was in concluding that 30-year war that they had the Peace of Westphalia. The Peace of Westphalia established the modern nation state as we know it and the doctrine of non-interference. That doctrine was invariably found wanting with the genocides against the Armenians and then the Jews in Germany, leading to the United Nations Fundamental Declaration on International Human Rights that called for self-determination. And I said to them that if the weakness of institutions, which is central to modern national well-being, are so weak that a government can run roughshod over its own citizens, then there must be recourse to supranational institutions. And I call for an international criminal, I call for 2 courts, an international criminal court and an international economic justice court, where a leader like Mobutu, for example, and I had Mobutu clearly in mind at the time, who pillage his country and keep poverty where it is, that such a leader should be able to be tried, should be triable in an international court. And I said most of the journalists, many of whom I know personally, Billy talked about how he got to know me from my writings in the 70s in the Christian Science Monitor in Boston. Even the editorial board of Christian Science Monitor told me that I was a little idealistic. But guess what? 2 years later, the Rome Treaty was passed and the International Criminal Court was established. I have not given up on that struggle. And we should, I don't care what people say, take leaders from Africa or anywhere in the world who act against the interest of their people in a way that leads to real deaths of human beings. Because the ultimate gift is the dignity of the human person. And those people should be able to be tried abroad. INEC is significantly funded by foreign donors. Those foreign donors have an accountability to their taxpayers whose money they're using to give INEC. And then all the nonsense that takes place in INEC takes place. So a panel, an international panel, is worth being established to find INEC people who have behaved badly, even if it's 20 years ago, and send them to jail. This must happen. Because there's no consequence management in this country.
Yes.
Consequence management is the reason we have bad behavior everywhere.
Exactly.
So we sent somebody who was in INEC 20 years ago to jail.
Yes.
And sent it out in Fiji Islands. People coming to INEC in the next round will behave different. So our judges who have ruined the reputation of our country will need to pay a price.
Exactly.
This is the challenge we have.
Hey! I like as everybody body dey hot now, because when we dey shout am for here, some people go to say, this one's just dey shout, they not get work. Okay, here we are. Nigeria dey collapse. See, for their webs, for the Senate account, Twitter account, they say breaking: Senate approves e-transmission of results. Nefertiti respond: Nigerians, pay attention. What the Senate posted is fake news. Akpabio did not approve the e-transmission of results. A very long episode. I no go get into am.
From the shaku, from the laziness, and take your country back.
Exactly.
The country is not working for you. It's not working for anybody.
Yep.
Are you going to allow them to be riding us? Wake up and get up. When we finish National Assembly, we should enter the court.
I'm telling you.
We should go to INEC. We should flush all the nyama, all the dirty people out, and get our country back peacefully, and get it back. Make sure they reshuffle and do the needful. The power of the people is bigger than the power of those in government. Stop being scared. Scared for what?
Exactly.
When you are scared, you go buy. When you're not scared, you go buy. You want to buy of no drugs, no better life, or you want to fight for your rights so your born children can live this shaku. No to selection in 2027. Give us proper amendments and worker.
These are the names of the people that were on the committee for electoral bill harmonization. I go share them for my post after this. Okay, I don't already save them. I'll go back to it. See them.
Actually, 12 members
See them.
of the House of Reps committee.
I beg, let me move forward. That's not the one. Mona, listen to this.
Geared ourselves to what's going on against Christians around the world, particularly in one place, and people have heard me say this, where there is persecution and execution of Christians, and that is Nigeria. Now the United States and Nigeria are moving forward on a new security agreement. In fact, just this past weekend, gunmen killed 3 people and kidnapped 11 others, including a Catholic priest. That comes as more than 160 kidnapped Christians were freed last week, so that's some movement. However, many others were killed. President Trump warned last November that U.S. aid would be cut if Nigeria failed to protect the people there.
No administration in modern history has done more to confront the plight of persecuted Christians around the world than we have with us. It's a mission. A lot of anti-Christian bias, and you see it going in foreign countries. I mentioned Nigeria. There are others. We're hitting them very hard. My administration is confronting head-on the militant and really intolerant campaign that tried to drive religious believers out of public life.
A Nigeria-based human rights organization says more than 7,000 Christians were killed in Nigeria just last year alone. And by the way, those numbers don't go all the way until the end of the year. So they are higher. And as that information becomes available, we will report it to you. You add that to the 125,000 killed since 2009. Congressman, you recently went to Nigeria to learn more about the violence firsthand. I know you briefed the president on this. You turned in a report after that. But now you have said, and I want to quote you, that in the past few weeks, we have seen one of the most horrifically bloody days in recent history. Why do you say that?
Well, right now, the folks that I am talking to on the ground have described what's happening in the Middle Belt in the north of Nigeria right now in the last 10 days as a bloodbath. Potentially as many as 300 have been killed throughout that region of Nigeria. We've had this priest
welcome, Ifi. Thank you.
Kidnapped as well with 10 of his parishioners. 3 of them were killed in one of the states of Nigeria, where we had about 150 people killed. And I will point out, a lot of those were Muslims, actually, that were refusing to submit to Sharia law and were trying to follow the Constitution of Nigeria. They were killed, but amongst those were also Christians, and they were burned inside of a church. They set it on fire. So it's just wanton death and murder and destruction that continues. But working with the administration, we are making steps in the right direction to address this persecution. The president is very singularly focused on addressing this. We now have special forces in Nigeria in a non-combative manner. They're there assisting the Nigerians. We have just signed a security cooperation roadmap with the Nigerian government and their military to continue to work on this. And we have also conditioned their security assistance in the last state foreign operations bill and appropriations that was just signed into law by President Trump.
Yeah, this is a lot of movement. You were talking about that one area, and residents told Reuters the attackers that hit their village were jihadists. In fact, these Islamic radical jihadists are what are being pointed to. You and I have talked about them before. They have been preaching inside their village, urging the locals to abandon Nigeria's state and their religion, Christianity, and adopt Sharia rule. When the villagers refused, the militants opened fire on them. So you're right, it's not just the people who are already Christians, it's those who might be open to helping Christians at this point. And I know that Nigeria's president, Tinubu, has said that they've deployed an army battalion to some of these areas. Are we making enough difference to where he's going to take some real action now?
Yes, but one of those actions that he needs to take, and he has said, he stated this publicly just recent, when he was, prior to being president, was in the Senate, or governor rather, is that he wanted to see a federalized police force, which is absolutely something that has to happen. Each state has to have the ability to secure their own people. Right now, you just have the police force in Abuja. It's a national police force. We need to arm the different police forces of the states throughout Nigeria to be able to protect the Christians that are being martyred throughout this country and provide security in a country that is facing massive insecurity challenges because of this centralized control right now that's been taking place.
Well, look, Congressman Moore, I know you've been all over this. Religious freedom is something that we stand for in this country, and when we see light being covered by darkness, we want to help. Thank you for all that you're doing, and thank you for the latest on all of this.
Thank you.
Let me see. I think there was another. If it's okay, never mind. It's the same one. Your Senate. So they are demanding for Akpabio to go. That's the latest now. So wherever you are, is Akpabio must go. There's a protest coming up 24th of February 2026. Akpabio must what? Go. You need to get out of there.
By media yesterday on the NSPPDF crowd and the amount of Nigerian protesters that came out in Abuja protest last week. That video went super viral, and I got a whole lot of comments, both positive and negative comments. And for me, the takeaway is that many Nigerians are coming to terms with the fact that organized religion itself in the country has not really helped Nigeria. There have been no benefits of organized religion in Nigeria. In fact, it has only helped keep Nigeria from actualizing our God-given potentials. And I got this particular comment that I want to read, because this comment, I saw it in different formats, in different ways, from the stories to the comment sections to quotes. So I just want to take this particular one because this is more well detailed, and I'm sure people that think like this will relate to what I'm about to say right now. This lady said, her name is Ida Atas. She said, People travel for many reasons: religious pilgrimages, concerts, conferences, vacations, and different events, both within and outside Nigeria. But I've noticed that whenever there's a national issue, videos of Christians gathering for fellowship or church programs are often singled out and used to question their priorities. If you are going to have a conversation about national responsibilities, shouldn't the same standard apply to everyone, regardless of the kind of event they are attending? Let's be fair and consistent in how we judge one another. All right, my sister, and to people that think along your line, you are honestly right. Anywhere you see Nigerians gathered that is not for the betterment of the country, questions should be asked about our priorities. If Nigerians are gathering for crusade, instead of marching and gathering for their rights, questions should be asked. If Nigerians are gathering just for whiskey concerts, questions should be asked. It shouldn't be an issue of cherry picking. Every time we do not come out in our numbers to exercise our rights, questions should be asked.
Exactly.
That is why I'm asking these questions. So I do not spare any side. But I want you to know a difference between both types of crowds. One of those crowds are people going to relax. They pay for it. They pay for those services. The other crowd is selling hope to a perceived set of people. Hope on situations that naturally their government should have provided for them. So let me give you an instance. Whether the country is good or bad, people will naturally go for concerts. But the truth of the matter is that if Nigeria is actually working, many people that will go for such church conferences will be fewer than they are today. Why? Because majority of the people that go for church conferences in Nigeria are going there because of what God will do for them. And these things they want God to do for them are things that naturally their government is meant to do for them. And you will see Nigerian pastors stand on the pulpit and are praying for Nigerians to get visa to run away from the country. Why should any Nigerian in a country that is blessed, Nigeria is that proverbial land of milk and honey, no Nigerian should actually be running away from Nigeria. People are meant to be running into Nigeria, but because of bad governance, Nigerians are fleeing our country. We are economical migrants to that part of the world, and we are not at war. So these are the issues. And instead of our pastors, our men of God that God has given a platform, have given an audience to speak truth to power and highlight on these issues and call the people responsible for making Nigeria bad the way it is out, they now sell hope to Nigerians that you should come and pray. How do you gather thousands of people and tell them to pray for miracle jobs in an economy that is not providing jobs? The math is not mathing. How can you be the poverty capital of the world and we have the richest pastors in the world? How can Christians be unaligned in some part of the country and these pastors are not visiting that part and doing their crusades in that part of the country? When they open their branch in Lagos, they take the other chapter to Abuja, then they go to probably some part of the southeast and the south-south, and the next thing they're in London. In America, they don't think of Meduguri, they don't think of Sokoto, they don't think of Bauchi or Castina. Are those people not worthy of the word of God? These are the questions. So nobody's attacking the Christian faith. We are attacking the false doctrines that is being practiced in today's Nigeria Pentecostal churches. That is the problem. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. God did not say some people or their people. He said my people. So God's own people will perish for lack of knowledge. Many Nigerians today are perishing. Many Christians are perishing, not because of anything, but because they lack knowledge. They do not know God for themselves. They outsource their relationship with God to men and claim to be men of God. That's why a man can be telling he's selling a miracle stone and the keys of heaven. And you see people in their thousands going to his church every week. How will such a man ever want Nigeria to get better? So it is our duty as Christians that know these things to unbrainwash Nigerians. In the Bible, there are so many prophets that stood up and spoke truth to power at their time. Samuel is an example. Samuel stood up and spoke truth to power to King Saul. In fact, he told him, God has taken away this throne from you and given it to David. In the days of David, there was a prophet called Nathan. Nathan spoke truth to David. In the days of Elijah, there was a king called the famous King Ahab and his Jezebel wife, the popular Jezebel that we all know. Elijah was constantly speaking truth to power. The same thing with Daniel. Daniel, how did he end up in the lion's den? I gave an example of John the Baptist in the New Testament. How his head was cut off because he spoke truth to King Herod. How can you be a man of God and you cannot speak truth to power? Nigerians are getting unalive every single day. A Nigerian lady died because of anti-venom for a snake bite. In Nigeria, a country that is so blessed. Majority of all our pastors are in bed now, politicians. That's why a governor can rig an election, the whole world witness, and he will go and stand on the pulpit and give testimony, and God did it for him. And the pastor will pray for him and lay hands on him. And these are our popular pastors today. So Christians, please do not make heroes of men that claim to be men of God. Know God for yourself. I do not come out here and castigate any of them and say God calling is not on them. No, God calling can be on them. The Bible also says, be wary, be very wary. Follow what they say, but don't act like what they do, because these people are only leading many of us to damnation. And I just hope you and so many other Christians come to the light to understand that our current Christianity practiced in Nigeria is not the Christianity that Christ came from.
Okay, I have a few more videos, and that will be it for now.
Especially when you're dealing with this group of Nigerian politicians. Just as I predicted rightly, because I think 10 steps ahead of a lot of them, I knew what they were going to do. I knew that they were going to pass the law in such a way that they were going to leave a lacuna. And like I said, even if
Hey, Ibi, welcome, oh, family. Welcome, welcome.
Even after that,
grab your bench, bring Coca-Cola nuts, carry your palm wine, enter.
They passed a law where they left a lacuna.
Love you too, Ibi.
Number one, in a case where you can't have electronic transmission of results, then you use Form EC8A. That's a big lacuna. The question is, it's still like what happened in Section 60 before, because this is still left at the discretion of the electoral officer. Some questions I know that they will never answer. Who determines when there is no network to be able to transmit results? And who make the decisions that they should fall back to EC8A? Exactly. The electoral officer. Probably the electoral officer might have been compromised. Secondly, is the IREV results, is it not justiciable? What does justiciable mean? Can you present it as evidence in court? Because the Supreme Court ruling in the last election stated it exclusively, that you can use it for corroborative evidence. That's the result of the IREV. But it's not justiciable. And that's why, when the political parties quickly rushed to go and get what was on the IREF from INEC and summoned and put it in court, the courts just overlooked all of them and said, you don't have a case here, because what we're going to do is the Form EC8A. And they know that the burden of proof is very difficult, because there is no political party in Nigeria. And please don't let them deceive you by saying APC, they have polling agents everywhere. That's when they say lie. Even with the APC cannot boast of even having 40,000 from EC80 of different polling units across the country under election conditions. No political party can do that. How are you going to be able to pay for the logistics to have agents in 176,000 polling units? That's having 176,000 people that you pay on ground, or you have people around there. How can you trust them? How can they get this information back to the central body of the political party? And that's why the burden of proof, especially in the presidential election, is very difficult. It's a very difficult burden. Elections that have been easily overturned are elections that has a shorter area spread. So take, for instance, the senatorial election. Because, okay, when you see a couple of polling units, even if a couple of the polling units and the key areas where you think you feel ripped out, if you get your EC8A forms and you can go and prove your case in court. But in the presidential election, that is a large spread across 176,000 polling units, it's always very difficult. So what they have just done is they've just put in a lacuna that's going to be able to make it easy for them to manipulate. And the truth is, they know what they are doing. That's why I say these politicians are smarter than you. The media, they've been able to tell the media to frame it as INEC finally passed electronic transmission. There's no victory anywhere. In fact, this is the beginning of the struggle. And the truth has to be said. The politicians and those that don't want transparent elections in this country, as long as they've put in the lacuna that if you cannot transmit, then you go back to EC80 forms. Forget it. So it's for you to shine your eye and keep working. The next port of call is people that are getting their voices heard. Don't stop getting your voices heard. Let's see what the harmonization will be able to say. When the harmonization committee meets, I think they'll extend the members to about 12. And let's keep making our voices heard. Because all we just want is we want transparency in the process. Because these same guys in the APC today that are running helter-skelter and all of that, I've read out a newspaper article in 2012, in 2013, when Lai Mohammed was saying they wanted electronic voting process. That's just it. Because they knew that that was what they were going to be able to use to triumph over the likes of the PDP. But once they didn't get that, yes, they had a card reader accreditation in 2015. But once all political parties could rig, and for what is what. Political parties out-rigged each other in 2015. The rigging was massive. Have you forgotten the Rivers election result by the PDP? And have you forgot the results out of Kano? So both parties out-rigged each other. APC and PDP, both parties rigged in 2015 massively. It's just who rigged more. So, and I'm sure as subsequent election happen, we're beginning to see that both parties rigged. So when it favors them, and you see all of these politicians that you're breaking your head over, don't lose sweat over them. All of them is just what they can do before they get into power. Because all of them, see, they need state resources.
Yep.
And what do they need the state resources to do?
For themselves.
They need state resources to keep themselves and perpetuate themselves in powers.
That's it.
They will pay lawyers that would advise them on how to keep themselves in power, to bend the law to favor them.
Yep.
They'll pay consultants that will think for them.
Yep.
And they'll pay people that execute for them.
Yep.
In the end, as long as they're in charge of the state resource, it all comes to them. So like I predicted rightly today on the show, what I said was going to happen was going to happen. They were still going to look for a way to find a lacuna and put a special interest lacuna. So, let's try our pans out. Guys, don't lose guard.
I'm telling you.
Man, would you she open your eyes, shine away.
Yep. On that note, that's why I'm going to hang it myself. Let none of us lose guard. You see this fight, I'm happy though, I have to say. So let it not be that I'm only just talking about, the fact is Nigerians are waking up. I think that they've come to that realization that they have to take it themselves. I'm happy with everybody across board has been standing on the e-transmission of results. I would even go as far as say, just since they are so, let's just demand for everything and get it. Let's also ask for them to do the electronic voting so that people will not go and be voting that day and be afraid. They should do electronic voting too. There's NIN, they are using it to collect tax. They can use it to vote. So let's push for everything that we can push for. So on that note, my people, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you all for joining me. Michael, thank you. Guy, it was good to see you. Who was here again? Oh, make I not miss anybody. EB, of course. Ify, everybody that was able to make it here. I greet to Nas. Seeds, thank you very much. Miss Flagship, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you all. I'll see you guys on my next one. We'll keep it locked in. I'm going to be monitoring because they've declared a date for the next protest, which is the 24th. I don't know if anything is going to happen between then and the 24th because I do know that there's some group of people who are saying they're going to go ahead and protest regardless, but we'll see what happens, okay? So, guys, thank you very much. I'll see you on my next one. Bye. Atlantic, thank you. Oh, my God, I won't forget Atlantic. Atlantic, thank you very much. Atlantic is very happy today because you don't see the action in body. You don't happy. You know, usually Atlantic will come in and be angry. You'll be asking questions after questions. You'll be asking questions. In other instances, you'll be like, I beg you, they're not going to do anything. Yeah. Hey, Christopher, long time. How you day? Thank you. Good to see you, my brother. Thanks for stopping by. Nigerians are ready. Ify, I was just saying that now. There are a lot of people waking up and being on the same page, calling for Akpabio must go and demanding for electoral e-transmission. And they are saying that if they do not give them e-transmission, no election. The voices are becoming more and more. I don't know whether you are on Twitter. So, yes, Nigerians are ready. They are getting there. Let's use our own way to push them too. Anyway, guys, we'll go see you now. I'll go see you now on my next one. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all. Night.